Sportsman here with WBO super-middleweight champion of the world, Billy Joe Saunders. Billy, how are you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Busy London and bit of press and chilling out for the day.
On the undercard of KSI versus Logan Paul out in LA in December, Hearn said to me he's expecting a global audience of over 50 million. What's that kind of exposure going to do for your profile?
You know, I think that any exposure, even after that, is phenomenal, especially for someone, you know, like myself, debuting on the DAZN and, you know, debuting in America, to have that sort of attraction around you. I mean, you've got to grab it with both hands, and I think it's. I'm quite looking forward to the build. To be fair, you know, it's getting a lot of criticism on social media and on other networks, but you know, for me, I'm just looking forward to performing in front of the big crowd, the big audience, and the TV scriptures.
When we spoke to Eddie last week, he said that the build-up so far, the press conferences, have been a little bit of a circus. Do you see where he's coming from?
Look, I can see. You can see that the two guys ain't got the fighters' mentality. They haven't got the fighters. You know, they haven't got the fighters' bravado. They don't really know how to come across as fighters because why? Because they're not. But what they are is clever and intelligent businessmen. So, you know, they're looking at it as it's like a bit of WWF, isn't it? All that when they're going at it. But listen, you've got to take it out to them. They put themselves in this position themselves. No one's given them a helping hand, and you know, they're grabbing it with both hands. I personally like to say, look, give them a pat on the back, fair play to them.
As world champion, were you expecting to headline this card?
Do you know what? I don't even know. I didn't even know who the other two guys was till I, you know, had a look and go. But it doesn't really bother me because, you know, you get some headliners and some top of the bills of some shows, and then you get someone on the undercard come through and completely steal the show, all together. So I'm not a big believer of someone saying, "Oh, you're top of the bill." As long as everyone's got a good time slot, that's all I'm worried about. You know, and winning and defending my title.
You're someone who's put the hard yards in, amateur and pro, for over 2 decades. These guys are rocking up essentially, and their first fight's on pay-per-view. It's a bit of a strange world we're living in at the moment. Yeah,
because you know they've obviously built their profile in the right way. You know, I think like it's up to 10 million views now. So you know they've got a great following, great fan base, and you know, I think a lot of fighters should take a leaf out of the book, because if a fighter could get that, a good fighter as well, could get that sort of fan base, then he's cracked it.
I don't know if you watched the first one, but can these boys fight?
Do you know what? I haven't seen them fight. I didn't watch the first one, so I don't know. But by the sounds of everybody, they can throw a dig or two. So who knows? Maybe so.
Eddie also said to me the role models of today are no longer Olympians, they're YouTubers. As a former Olympian, what's your response to that?
Listen, I think that in the real boxing world, to your real boxing fans, to see someone come through from the Olympics, then you know gradually build up all the titles and to the top, they will appreciate that. But this day and age, you've got these young kids now that, you know, the phone's blind and they look at something fancy and that takes their eye to something real. So, you know, everyone's got their own opinion. My opinion is obviously that I'd rather watch 2 world-class athletes fight than any other sport in the world.
Do you think you're adding some credibility to the show from that perspective?
I think that is quite a clever move that Eddie's doing, because obviously that he's put these on to attract non-boxing fans and try to keep a few, but he's also put a good undercard on to go, whoa, you know, there's something for your boxing fans to watch in the UK and in America.
Moving on, so you've now left Ben Davison, you're back working with Dominic Engle. Give us the specific deciding factor in your move.
There's no deciding factor. Me and Ben get some wells with him yesterday. We've trained one another since 2013-14. Really good working relationship. And he was over there with Tyson, so I had to set up camp there and continued it. So, you know, it's nice to be back at the gym, seeing the lads. But like I say, it's all hard work, and you know, you never know in boxing what's going to happen, do you? You never know.
What do you make of John Fury's comments that Tyson should shake his team up?
Listen, John's a father, and he's obviously saying something from the heart, probably in the heat of the moment. Probably will do things and say we don't mean, but you know, look, it is what it is. You know, his dad will have his opinion, and you know, that's his opinion.
And just finally, massive fights out there for you if you come through this one. GGG, Canelo, maybe Eubank Jr., Callum Smith. Just rank those in easiest to hardest for us.
Listen, every fight you can't rank in easiest and hardest, because for one, you've got to turn up on the night. For two, that you know, they're all good fighters. So they're all hard fights.
Billy Joe Saunders, thank you for speaking to the Sportsman.
God bless you.